What's up, Eric Yang?
How you doing?
The first time we're talking
right.
ever.
Yeah.
This is great. So, we met at UConn probably last February.
Yeah, it was a year ago.
Yeah, like when the girls basketball team was playing South Carolina, and I thought that you looked like you knew what you were doing, which is why I spoke to you. But I just wanted to circle back again and really get to know you some more, because I really like your work and want people who eventually watch this to know you as well. So I guess we can start from the beginning. How'd you end up at UConn? Do you even live in Connecticut? Like, what's the whole story?
Sounds good, Ryan. So I was born in China, and I moved here when I was 14. I went to high school in Massachusetts, and I chose UConn for college. So that's why I'm here for college, but I don't really live in Connecticut. I picked up my first camera when I was a senior in high school. My dad, I got it for my birthday. And during that senior summer, I kind of just learned a lot. I took my camera to everywhere, took a lot of photos, got into videos, and then eventually know the whole process of producing a video and kind of like the editing and the whole process. I got a really a really important internship when I was a freshman in college. It's kind of like a video producer position for like the school social media team. I gained a lot of experience, like the entire workflow of video producing, as well as communicating to people and how to work with other people to tackle a single project together. And I still have that. They gave me an offer for the job after that year, and I still work with there since. And yes, I met you, I think, last year around this time. Believe it or not, that was my second time shooting basketball on the court, so I had no idea what I was doing as well. I got my first game. It was against East Carolina University, I believe. I just took a lot of photos, and then same thing with the second one. I think there's something special about the game of basketball, especially when you're that close to the court, and you can hear everyone like cheering for the team, and it's an incredible experience.
Yeah, that's really dope, man. And basketball is not the only thing that you film and take pictures of. So I also see that you're with UConn's men's soccer team. So talk about getting that gig and what's it like making videos for them.
Yeah, so my experience with the soccer team, I really started with after my first year of working at the university's internship. One of the other, because the university is all connected together. There's really a short amount of people who does these kind of stuff, and a person who I work with recommended me to the assistant soccer coach at UConn. And they were looking for a student worker to work with their social media team and to create content and videos to drive their ticket sales up. And eventually I was able to get in touch with the soccer team and to film the entire soccer season. And I was able to travel with them. I was able to go to like every single home game, to away games, take pictures, to make videos. Not only those videos were promotional in a sense, and also they were kind of like pump up videos for the athletes. They were I'll watch it together right before they go out to the game. So I was really fortunate.
That's dope. My favorite one that you did was the one where everyone was like beating their chest. So my thing is when I edit stuff, I'll just put everything together and then find a song later. But for something like that, you have to know what song you're going to use before. So is that your typical workflow, or just for that particular project, that's what you did?
Yeah, that is actually my typical workflow. I gain during the season, I would watch a lot of sports commercials. I would look at every single commercial on YouTube, whether it's Nike. Nike has a lot of great ones. Adidas, like Under Armour has a pretty good Under Armour and Gatorade, I believe, have a couple of good ones. And my usual workflow is I would hear a song, I will hear a track, and I would like immediately know what to do and get really inspired by it. So I usually put the sound down first and then like add everything on with my footage after.
That's dope. A lot of creators that I come across, they are just so focused on like making highlight videos that it's kind of like, I feel like that market is getting super saturated, but it seems like your natural inclination is to like tell a story with whatever you're doing, whether it's just taking a picture and like the moon is directly above you or something like that, or you're making a full-on, feature film kind of. So is that like your natural thought process, or do you think that you kind of like grew that and groomed that over time?
Yeah, I feel like I started photography and videography because I wanted to tell like other people's story. I feel like the highlights are cool. There are a lot of people doing it, and I respect their work. And I feel like an aspect that is missing from the work is all you see is them scoring a goal or making a basket. You don't really know their story on how they work to get where they are at that moment. And I feel like that's what oftentimes missing, especially nowadays in the social media. Like, sure, there's a lot of there's a lot of media nowadays are leaning towards kind of a storytelling, telling their whole background and biography. But I feel like that's how I usually do mine. I would spend a lot of time with the person. I would spend a lot of time with the subject, like around the team, and then eventually capturing what they like what's true to them, what's at the side that people don't usually see.
Right. Yeah, that's dope, man. I guess going back over to basketball, I noticed on your page that you did some stuff with the NBA guy Bobby Portis, and had a couple other pros on your page. So talk about how you got that opportunity, and then talk about your choice to post like pictures in black and white. Was that just like for that particular, I guess, camp or whatever that was, or you just was like, I want to do black and white today? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like as a creator, I feel like everyone struggles through the phase where they don't really know what to do with their feed. They don't really know what to do with their work. I feel like it's a phase of people. For me, it was a black and white phase. I feel like everything looked great in black and white, and everything didn't would not have the, because black and white in sports photography creates kind of it really grabs people's attention with black and white. There's something special with black and white photography, so that's why I decided to do with the whole summer camp training process with the pros. But I was actually really lucky to get that gig, because after I shot those two women's basketball game at UConn, one of the players' boyfriend had it was Nafisa Collier, the captain of the women's basketball team at the time. Her boyfriend his name's Alex Bazil, and he is an NBA trainer. He was a college pro and pro himself. I think he played college, and then he was a pro himself, and then he now teaches a lot of the NBA prospective players to WNBA players and to current the NBA stars. So he reached out to me after him seeing my work. I was really fortunate to go to Los Angeles for a month and a half with him and to shoot his daily he trains every day almost, and he worked with pros from as early as 6 o'clock in the morning to pretty late at night.
That's dope. It's crazy how far just doing something that you love with the camera can take you. You know what I mean?
It was crazy. It was I really couldn't believe that happened last summer. So
yeah, that sounds really dope. I want to talk a little more in detail about your photography because I think you have a pretty special gift of like leading the eye to where you want it to go. And I don't know if a lot of people realize why they like your stuff or like why it's good. Because people think, I mean, a good picture could be anything. Like it could be out of focus, and if it's pleasing to the eye, that works. But like, there's a way to get someone to really take in what you're trying to express when you post a picture. So as best as you can, like talk about what you think about when you're cropping or when you're taking a picture on a mountain looking down over a city. Like, what do you think about?
Yeah, I see. I like to crop my photos a lot. I feel like that drives my most, like, I never just post a photo of how exactly it would frame because, like, with the restriction, like, especially with basketball, you're, like, fixed in one spot and then you're shooting a lot of, like, motion and, none of the angles and the pictures that you took are exactly how you plan to do. So that's why like I never post a photo where it's just like the original, like the crop. So I always try to find interesting angles and interesting perspectives with the ability to crop after work. But I feel like I gain a lot of my inspiration from like other aspects of photography. I do sports photography. Like especially like intensively now in college, but before that I like to shoot like a landscapes photography. I like to take portraits. I like to go on a hike to national parks and go onto the top of the mountain and to take a lot of nature style photography. So I feel like that somehow translate into how I see my sports work as well. I feel like that is a big influence of how my work looks for the sports photography.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Do you have like a particular dream or like a pinnacle that you want to reach that defines success for you?
Define success with me is at the end of the day, it's definitely making something that is inspiring to others, whether it's in forms of photos or videos. I want to tell, like, whether it is telling someone's story and making an impact on another, or just trying my best to inspire and motivate other people to do the same. I feel like with photography it's especially difficult to reach a level of heights because like photography, sure, there's a lot about angles, a lot about the color grading, the angle, what kind of camera you use, but at the end of the day it really limits a lot of like creativity. So that's why I'm focusing a lot more on video, on producing moving like motion, like movable content. Video content has a lot of more flexibility and creativity in it, and you see online these Nike ads and like people like whenever a Nike ad comes out, like everyone is resharing it, everyone's posting about it. There's something really truly special with the sports community. I think it's a very strong bond, like no matter the language barriers, no matter everything else, like everyone could be in the same environment together because of sports. And I think it's a big industry. I think it's a very how should I say, it's a growing industry still, and I think there's a lot of things could be done with the sports field, in my opinion.
I agree, man. Just a couple more questions.
Sure, yeah.
First, how has COVID-19 affected your craft up to this point?
COVID-19, it's been tough. I think it's been tough for everyone. I've been in my room. This is the second week now. I haven't shot anything for a long time. Typically, so I would still have school still. This is where March Madness starts. This is where the tournament for a lot of basketball starts. And having COVID-19 took that away from us, but I haven't shot anything in a while. I've been looking through some old footage, but that's really about it. I have a couple of projects for school in mind. It's all related to being quarantined, and it all requires me to do like everything in this room. So I would say definitely find something that is creative to do around you. Like I'm glad you're doing this at this moment. You know what I mean? It kind of inspired me to still create and still do more, despite the fact that we can't go anywhere.
That's dope, man. I think that this is really gonna, I guess, set the standard for who really wants it, who is like truly an artist. And like, if you feel like you can't do anything, then I don't think that you're truly a creative. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see what people start coming up with. But the name of the show is called Baseline. So I want to know, out of all the times you've shot a soccer game or a basketball game, like, what's the one story that is like, wow, I'm never gonna forget that?
I don't know. I definitely have one. I just can't think of it at the moment. I feel like the most memorable game that I ever shot for the soccer team was they were playing against UCF, I think, and it was an away game. It was my first time traveling with them. We actually flew to Florida for like 2 days and play. So we in Connecticut it's usually like around the soccer season, like September, November, it's getting kind of chilly. It's like you need to wear like all warmer stuff. And in Florida and that day with the game, it was extremely hot. It was like 100 and something degree, and we played around noon. It was like the hottest time ever. The sun was right above you. Like every single picture that I had like really harsh shadow on it. I've never dealt with the experience before. There's like sweat drenching on me, and like I don't even know how we like tied that game up because we were so in the environment that we're not used to. I can't imagine like being on the field and playing. Like I was sweating, just like sitting in the sidelines, holding my camera up. But that was definitely for me to like step in like the athlete's shoes, like kind of like see like how much more they have to work and how much more they have to do in order to play the game that they love, or in order to like work in the industry, being a college athlete.
Yeah. Dang, that's something I didn't really consider. Like, you're used to being in a cold environment, then you gotta go play somewhere else. Like, how does that affect how you prepare and all that stuff? That's interesting. Well, that's really it. I feel like we got a lot. The only other question I want to ask is, like, once all this virus stuff dies down, like, do you have any big plans? Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, I had a big sports commercial shoot that was supposed to happen this semester, but it got canceled because of COVID-19. And I also been trying to do kind of like a player tribune style of featuring a player going to their practice, like featuring like one athlete, that could be like any sport. The first one that I did is on a soccer player. I'm still working on kind of like the templates and his story, but I'm hoping to do that more in the future and working with athletes from different field and different type of sports. Yeah, that's really it. Mm-hmm.
If you ever need anybody in this area, just let me know and I'll help out.
Sounds good, Dave.
So shout out your social media stuff so I can put it on here so people can see.
I only have Instagram. It's Eric Yang 17, YANG 17. Thank you so much, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Appreciate you. Peace.